What is the difference between a hostel and a co-living space? Well, there's three big differences, and I'll share them with you right now. Difference number one is intended length of stay. You see, in a hostel, people are planning on staying for a little bit more of a shorter period of time. Maybe they're traveling through, maybe they're backpacking, maybe they want to stay there for a whole month. But more than likely, it is some sort of short-term stay or short-term housing opportunity for someone who's just looking and needs a cheap place to stay. Co-living, on the other hand, if it's done correctly, is really made for someone to actually live in a community where their room is like their apartment, okay? This is how a lot of people live in Europe. It's starting to come to the United States and making more waves here. But the intended length of stay for someone living in a co-living community, I know for my co-living communities, we ask for an initial commitment of 12 months, similar to an apartment or a house that you would actually rent. So that length of stay is just gonna be a lot longer. Difference number two between a hostel and a co-living space is just how many people there are to a room. You know, the way that I run my co-living homes is that it's single person occupancy per room. It basically means that there's one person that can live in that room. Now, they can have some overnight guests, even though we limit some of those overnight guests. They can have overnight guests, they can have people over, they can enjoy that space, but ultimately it's designed for just them. Whereas in a hostel, you could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people sharing one room. I remember I slept in a bunk in a hostel one time, and I think there was like 15 bunks in this room. Now, thankfully, there was not 15 people in the room that night, but there was a few, and it can get a little bit loud in hostels. Just something to note. Difference number three between a hostel and a co-living space is who stays at these places. Now, for co-living, we're looking and attracting young working professionals. They're planning on staying in this city for 3, 4, 5 years. Maybe they have a lot of debt, or maybe they have enough income to afford a full apartment or a single family home, but they just don't want to because they're smart with their money, or they travel a lot and this is their home, but they want to spend their money in other places. So instead of spending it all on an apartment or spending it all on a house that they could rent, they're actually spending it way more wisely, way more smartly. They're renting a room instead of a full apartment, and they're spending their money where they actually want to and saving more. Maybe they're saving money for a down payment on a house, whatever the reason is. Normally, though, it's someone that's in that city that wants to live in that city and stay there for a long time. They're a working professional. You know, a lot of times in my experience, people who stay at hostels are people who are traveling, they're adventuring, they're kind of exploring or going about the world, and they need that cheap place to stay. Maybe they're trying to do it on a budget, or maybe they're just, you know, working for 30 days in a city and then moving to 30 days in the next city to work remotely. Whatever the amount of time is, it's usually short, and it's who stays in those places. I hope this video was helpful in helping you understand the difference between a hostel and a co-living space. Enjoy. I hope you like or subscribe or give me a comment or share the video. We'll see you guys soon.